talk about books. Specifically books that I have had for years, but ones that, I go back to and or I refer to friends. So these are, for the most part, self-help books. I am a bookworm, so I read everything. So fiction, nonfiction, magazines, newspapers, you name it, I'll read it. But these in particular are practical books that I find just the advice in them has really served me well over the years. So first, I will start with probably the most controversial one and one you might not expect, but it's The Rules. So The Rules, Time-Tested Secrets for Capturing the Heart of Mr. Right. So I got this book from my aunt when I went away to college back in 1999. So I've had this book forever. It's been a while since I cracked it open. So I've been married for almost 12 years. So, obviously it worked. And to tell you the truth, I met my husband the first day of orientation in college, and I'm definitely a rules girl. And I definitely practice the things in this book. And you know what? They work. They really work. But, I know this book got a lot of flack because people are like,
oh my God, it's so old-fashioned.
And, you should just be independent and strong into whatever. But I feel like people miss the point. The underlying point of The Rules is basically, if a guy isn't into you and isn't head over heels like crazy about you, don't waste your time there. That's basically the essence of this. And it's also about keeping yourself busy, keeping yourself being the best you that you can be, not necessarily to attract a man, but just when you're the best you that you can be, when you're investing your time into your personal appearance, to your activities, to your friends, to your outside interests outside of Mr. Right, that will make you that much more fulfilled, that much more happy, that much more confident, and you'll be irresistible when the right person comes along. So this one I highly recommend. I don't know if there's an updated version that deals with the digital age. I'm dating myself, but there was no Facebook. There was no, maybe there was Facebook, but there wasn't all this constant communication when I was in the dating world. So I feel bad for my friends now who have to go through all of that.
Oh my God, he unfriended me on Facebook, or this person's commenting on his Instagram. What does it mean? He hasn't answered my text.
So I didn't have to go through any of that when I was dating and when I first got married. So in any case, I say all of that to say that if you haven't read this book, or if you heard bad things about it, or maybe if you prejudged it or judged it, read it and judged it negatively, I would say maybe revisit it and just try it. Just try it. That's all I'm gonna say. All right. The next book that I like is also one that's kind of related to relationships, and this one is Smart Couples Finish Rich. And it's by David Bach. And he's the best-selling author of Smart Women Finish Rich. So if you're a single lady reading the video and you feel like Smart Couples isn't for you, Smart Women Finish Rich is also a great one to read. But this one I like. I got this when I first got married back in 2005. Oh my God, it's been so long. In any case, this is great because most of us, let's face it, we don't really know how to manage finances as a unit. It's not something that's taught in schools, and sometimes if you're lucky, you might have a good example from your parents, but most of us don't. Finances aren't something that's really talked about, so when you join, man and wife, and you become one, or woman and woman, or man and man, whatever, but when you join, you bring two households together, and you start managing your finances together. It's a whole different ballgame. So this book is definitely a great starting point. All of my friends that get married, I highly recommend that they get this book. It just gives you some great resources and great tips for just managing your household. So this one, highly recommend. And even now, I probably will go back and read this again because it's been a couple of years since I've cracked this open, but just to revisit it, it just tells you, it gives you lots of good practical advice. The next book is an oldie but goodie, and this one is The Science of Success, The Secret to Getting What You Want, and it's by Wallace Wattles. And originally this book was written, this is like an old book, so I will I'll look up and see when it was originally written, but this is actually 3 books in one. So it's The Science of Getting Rich, which was talked about in The Secret. I've read The Secret and I enjoyed that book, but I know The Secret sometimes for some people can seem a little hokey. But I would say you could read this book and you basically have everything that's in The Secret if you're not into that. This is a much more practical version of The Secret, I would say, and much more straightforward and not so woo-woo. A lot of people aren't into that. So in any case, this includes 3 different books. So it's The Science of Getting Rich, The Science of Being Well, and The Science of Being Great. So 3 classics that are all just about mindset, all just about, the power of your thoughts, not just positive thinking, but the power of your thoughts to really shape your world, both your physical world and the way you experience go through the world, and all the things that are drawn to you or that you repel. So this one I highly, highly recommend. So the next book I'd like to recommend are The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And this is by Stephen Covey. So he is like the business world guru. So The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, this is a really dense read. And this book is kind of well worn because I have to keep going back to it again and again. This is really just this is like a study guide for life almost. So definitely will help you in the professional world. That's initially what I picked it up for. I was trying to climb that corporate ladder at the time. But it's not just about your professional life. It's also about your personal life as well. So just how to be more effective, more organized, more just really get a good foundation to really know what your principles are, know what you stand for, and how to really live up to those principles and continually push yourself. So and just to be more effective in getting things done, both in your personal life and in your professional life. So this one I highly, highly recommend. And this one is, you probably need to reread this over and over again, and you'll every time you read it, you'll figure out something new, or you'll notice something new that you'll focus on. So highly recommend this book. The next one is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. So I don't know if I've told you guys this before, but I am an introvert. In fact, I'm an INTJ. That's in the Myers-Briggs personality quiz. So you can look that up and know everything there is to know about me for the most part, personality-wise. In any case, it used to be very hard for me to, make new friends, actually, I'll take that back. I had no problem making friends, but just like chit-chat and like small talk and like striking up conversations with strangers was not my deal. So when I was pretty early on in my career, I decided to push myself out of my comfort zone and go into sales. And my husband at the time recommended that I read this book. And it turns out when I first met him, I thought he was just so outgoing, would always go up to people. And when we go to church together, he would, stay afterwards and like strike up conversations and whatnot. And I just thought he was naturally good at that. Lo and behold, it turns out we have the same personality type. He's also an introvert, but he had read this book in high school, and he would really, once I read the book, I'm like, oh, that's what you're doing. So honestly, the biggest piece of advice in this book is that people love to talk about themselves. I think that I'm a great example of that with my YouTube channel. But in any case, people love to talk about themselves. So the way to really be an effective communicator and to really get to know people is just to be genuinely curious and to ask people questions about themselves. Try to find out, like, just really be kind of like an investigator. Not saying you have to be nosy in all of people's business, which I can be subtly in a low-key classy way, but that's the number one takeaway from this. But yeah, if you're an introvert, or if you are someone who just wants to be a better communicator, you want to just develop better connections with people, deeper friendships, just put yourself out there a little bit more, this is an excellent place to start. So sometimes you can't go wrong with the classics. A lot of times you can't go wrong with the classics. So there you have it, guys. Those are my 5 book recommendations. All of these books I've had for gosh, I would say going on 10 years or more for all of them, and I've read them several times. I will probably go back to a few of them, and those are ones that I recommend all the time when people ask me, you know, what books do I enjoy. Those are definitely some of my go-tos, so I hope that you enjoy them as much as I have. If you've read any of them and if you have a differing opinion, I'd like to know that. And if you have some key takeaways or maybe even some new book recommendations, like kind of along those lines, I would love to hear them. So drop a note in the comments. Maybe we could start even like a little book club. I would definitely be down for that. So if you like this video, definitely do rate and subscribe. Turn those notifications on so that you know when I put out new content. And until next time, guys, take care and have a great one. Happy reading!